With profound, humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 1 of 4.
Etc.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
저희 방송은 다양한 언어를 제공합니다. 다음을 참고하세요. suprememastertv.com/schedule.
If you still have a good meditation, then maybe you seek a little bit or can be cured. But if it's too much, then you will probably go goodbye. And goodbye in the lower level, not in higher level and liberated.
Yes, Master.
Don't think that you are initiated by Master and then you are covered. No. You got to eat your food as well.
Yes, Master.
Please keep watching to find out more.
Vegan side effect. Enemy who?
Supreme Master Ching Hai's lectures are not a complete meditation instruction. Please do not try alone. For free of charge guidance, please visit godsdirectcontact.org or contact any of our centers near you.
Today's episode will be presented in English and Dao, with subtitles in Arabic, Aulacese, also known as Vietnamese, Bulgarian, Chinese, Czech, English, French, German, Hindi, Hungarian, Indonesian, Japanese, Korean, Malay, Mongolian, Persian, Polish, Portuguese, Punjabi, Romanian, Russian, Spanish, Telugu, Thai, and Ukrainian.
Hắt soi liềm chun mùa tỏi, mài nhau đầu say hụ phát, dê nơi bùa biển văn lì. Bảo miền mài xăm văn hóa liều chun dâm ủ Âu Lạc Việt Nam. Bố cun mùa tỏi hải trạng cú tu cầu chiên ủ củ ngua chiên hăm, thiêng liêng liều liềm chun tu huyền hay. Bèo miền ủ Âu Lạc Việt Nam, cua cắp hử chập phẩy phỉnh dân tộc, coi diều mùa tỏi dằm dòi chùa, diêm, nàng, vìa bèng, vìa họp, ủ nai nom cua Âu Lạc Việt Nam chìa xin hàng á. Bèo miền sầm puộn diêm ủ Bắc Pun Âu Lạc Việt Nam, ủ Cao Bằng, Hà Giang, Yên Bái, Lạng Sơn. Cua nay miền thuận diêm ủ Bắc Kỳ, Kim Kía, Kỳ Chong, chuồng cai, ây mẹ, bèo hay, liều nhặt nàng. Nua hiu tu sầm dụng tiếng hay, liều chầu mía, ây chọ bẹ. Bèo miền nê bèo chầu ai, khu mải chầu bèo bằng, rồi tẩy chầu ủ Kỳ Chong chuôn nơi chầu bèo bằng, y trạng nơi chầu hăng, mải chầu lồng ruội. Kinh quỷ bà dung tu UNESCO chấp nhận liều chùn di sản văn hóa phi vật thể đại diện của nhân loại từ Âu Lạc Việt Nam. Bèo miền hách chùi chiên hiêu hăm, dằm dòi nàng lồng duệ ồ. Trong chú xính xinh duệ, miền chết chú lùi đao, chú hầu, chú chùm, sống sống mai bèng bèo nọ xính xinh duệ. Hồng mai mù gong đồng câm khoai tia mai sống bằng miền chẳng trôi lôi bình thường, đơn giản. Mù gong căm khoai đia, dịn díp ấy non mùa. Miền siết, miền chặn, trên điều nhăn van, nhăn lin, liều chuẩn giáo, cầu căn nơi quân xin. Bèo miền chầu nhạn, chầu hấp, hải chẳng cú chầu chiên, chầu phú, ship lùng đau, chẳng tỉa mà, ông thải ấy đạo giáo, hải chẳng cú dầm rồi vì họp. Mà luận mình hụ tu xàm dụng hụ bào miền diêm ủ Âu Lạc Việt Nam. Tua quẩy khẽ sông mình, hụ pun mùa tỏi quẩy vậy. Giật hiêu đầu say hụ tu hiu thảo tàu thảo mây dồn dụn hiu. Giờ chập hàng quìa, mình say thanh hải vô thượng sư, chịu quang quân quân nơi sấy trạng, lộc nhìn nơi tàu lây con, xuất luận giảm dòi hiu, nhìn si diệt tàu mình say, hết tu lưu sấy trạng lùng đia, nhìn dạo phát môn quán âm, buôn hải tàu xính xình ham, lo tu duẩn Phật tánh, ủ cù ngôi hiu, liều nai sấy nhập tu Phật tánh, nhập tu xin tòng, tài liều chay quảng tỏi tỏi nàng tại quyền pháo quyền diện. Xuyến sinh khâu pháp môn quán âm tu sanh tàu mình sai phiêu hữu ấy sạch quìa mù ni Phật Giêsu Kitô mình sai khổng chỉ Krishna mình sai lù quân Mahavir Mohammed Pen on thảo nín Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Hồng Mai Sam Tàu ô. Mình sai thanh hải, nhìn bùa qua hải trạng cốt trạng thượng đế, qua lộng hiêu cầu miền khâu, mấy lộng in chìn, mấy lộng nuôi keo in chìn, qua cầu miền khâu ấy lùng cầu, nay qua hành hiêu tu qua ủ nai, trải trạng liều, chầu nhua ngai, qua hành hiêu tu liêu qua nay quân xin. Thanh hải nhìn si khoát tổng kỳ, liều qua chịu mạng. Nhìn hải trạng cúc cầu khâu, cầu nạn. Nhìn lộng nhàn chìn cá nai nhặt, thiên tai, chập khâu, hấp, quân miền mê mại béo. Nhìn thanh hải vô thượng sư, chân hiêu tỏ chĩa khu miền, lồng miền, liềm chun các nhà lãnh đạo, chính phủ. Hải trạng cú phòng họ, lồng hiêu pun xăm mùa tỏi. Hách thiên tòng hải trạng cúp bun phu quẩy vậy. Liềm chun diên nơi ủi cóc chay, thanh hải vô thượng sư diên hiêu hát chẳng mùa tỏi quẩy vậy. Nơi in trình, cúp bun quẩy vậy run rụn lồng duậy tai rách. Nhìn thanh hải vô thượng sư, nhiệm tước ủi sàn diệm vùi, tin thòi, chính phủ, cấp xăm dụng giải thưởng ấy, gu si vòi bèn, y xin lệnh cúp hẳn, Nobel vòi bèn, tông pun, giải lãnh đạo tâm linh sảy trạng, diệt xin chua pe chua chập phẩy, giải mắt ha vơ, y xin lệnh triệt hàng, nhạy hạ nhị chập nhạy, cắt chập hạ nhị chập hử, nai y năm hoa si thanh hải vô thực sư tụ vinh danh, bằng công dân danh dự của Hiệp chủng quốc Hoa Kỳ, hồng mài xăm dụng, nai chìa chập hàng quìa, nhìn tụ vinh danh, nhìn tàu tụ xăm dụng, lòng pun miền khâu, chiều khủng, xuất sắc tài giết. Hồng Mai Samsung giải thưởng mấy con tu lưu, hát mùa tội bởi vậy quang quìa, riêng mấy mai cảo xì hụ liều con. Nhìn Thanh Hải Vô Thượng Sư, trên hiêu tòa chĩa khu miền, lầu miền, liềm chun các nhà lãnh đạo, chính phủ, hải chặn cú phòng họ, lồng hiêu pun xăm mùa tỏi, hách thiên tòng hải chặn cú pun phu quẩy vậy. Liềm chun yên nơi ủi cóc chay, Thanh Hải Vô Thượng Sư trên hiêu hát chẳng mùa tỏi quẩy vậy nơi in trình, cú pun quẩy vậy run run lồng duệ tai rách. Nhìn xuất vạ pun liềm chun cư dân, loài vật, chim muôn ruồi ủ lai sảy trạng, bàn kim mùa tỏi, muông tại nhìn nhạt. Mảnh say, Thanh Hải Vô Thượng Sư, bùa buôn nơi miền màn, dằm dòi kinh lối sống thuần thực vật, vìa bèng, ở lồng dằm dòi, liều trở buôn sảy trạng, lùng đau tú bèn on, huyền hay. Nhìn chỉ xuất ai nai, chầu xuất phiền, lối sống mới thuần thực vật, khói san nóng beo mại cai nhạt sinh, Loving Hood, khói xăm nông công ty chầu cai nhạt sinh, chầu tốt lùn lui chú xăm dụng cai lông thuần chay, khói thìn thòi, truyền hình, chùi phiền con câu, cấp xăm lãnh đạo, chính phủ, giới truyền thông, con duẩn biến đổi khí hậu toàn cầu, mài xăm dụng liều dằm dòi hưu. Nhìn Thanh Hải lọc lệch, chầu xếp buôn chuẩn miền luồng bia, dằm dòi hưu tu, lối sống thân thiện tự ái, liều tỏ dần vỉa, bèng, lùng bia, tốt bèng on. Nòm đau mới bị biến đổi khí hậu tỏ tròi nạn pun miền màn mạn muộn. Mình say, Thanh Hải Vô Thượng Sư, nhìn dầu tàu cỏm lùng bia, con câu pun chuẩn miền màn cắp nhìn nơi họ sang, con xăm dụng câu chuẩn tâm linh. Hư hạ sang nhạy, y xin nhị chậm nhạy hàng, nhìn Thanh Hải Vô Thượng Sư, liều trì hụ liều pun phát tình thương và trí huệ. Họ sang mai xăm dụng lại nhìn lị hoi, ria dằm dòi may mắn tu rảnh, chịu, khói hích ụi con duẩn, phiêu dằm dòi chiền phiêu, liều cầu cần nơi quần xin, cầu lùng bia tài phàm trên cú quận, tiết mục phun sang con cắp họ sang, lộng phòng quay vạ con.
Chưa gặp em, tôi đã nghĩ rằng có nàng thiếu nữ đẹp như trăng.
I wish I could have been alone like before and meditate on the sound method because I knew it would help me recover quickly.
Yes.
I wish so much in my heart that I could, but I could not. My hands were tied with all the tubes.
Wow. Yes, I understand. Yes.
And I was even fenced in the bed because I worried that I would fall down, for example, like that.
Oh my God.
I could not get up by myself.
Oh.
I had to push the bed until it went up like 45 degrees.
Yes.
Otherwise, every time I tried to get up myself, I was in excruciating pain.
Wow.
Pain that I could not even utter one word of scream.
Oh no.
You just sit there like you were paralyzed from head to toe. You could not even scream. And sometimes the nurse would ask me things that I could not answer. And they were angry with me. Just because I could not talk at that time. I could not do anything. Later I had to apologize, but they did not believe me. And they banged the bed and gave me more pain. Yeah, instead of slowly letting the bed down, they made it very fast. So my body banged on the frame of the bed.
Yes.
With the bed together, of course, but it banged very hard.
Yes.
I could not even scream. Later I apologized and I explained, and then they came and apologized to me. One of the nurses was very nasty. I guess she just misunderstood. She had a hard time in the hospital.
Yes.
Being a nurse is not always good.
Yeah.
Not always people thank you. Sometimes they yell at you. Very ungrateful. Because they're in pain.
Yes.
They don't know anything anymore. I apologized, but she did not accept. And later, When the doctor operated on me already and I came back to the same hospital, she still didn't say anything. She knew that I was really in pain then because I explained. Otherwise, whatever I told her, she did not understand. She thought I was just playing for attention or being stubborn.
Yes, Master.
Then sometime later on, the patient next to me was still not recovered. I had already been operated on and came back and had the chance to recover. So I gave her something. I said, this is a good blessing for you. You will be attended to and recover soon like me. Hold it. And then the nurses saw that because the other nurse gave me that gift. She said, this is very good for you. The good nurse, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
And then the bad nurse saw that and she came and kneeled next to my bed and said, sorry.
Wow.
She said, you are my teacher. You are in pain and you are suffering so much and you still think of other people. Whereas I was treating you very badly. She said, sorry. I said, no, I think you just misunderstood. Because I could not explain. I was so much in pain. I felt so useless, so burdensome to all of you. And I didn't know how to explain this. It was just a terrible pain. And the doctor couldn't find out what it was all this time.
Yes, Master.
Yes.
And some even thought I was faking it and treated me badly also, even doctors.
Wow.
And later on, one of the initiates, a brother doctor came and then he guessed he has some experience with this type of sickness. He talked to other doctors at home and then he recommended, he said to those doctors, please send her to that kind of hospital to see if it's something else.
Yes, Master.
So they sent me to the next hospital and the doctor immediately operated on me.
Wow.
I mean, immediately the next morning. I was there like evening and they prepared the next morning for operation.
Wow.
They could not wait longer, otherwise I will be paralyzed, he told me. And it's true like that. They all knew that afterwards. Anyway, it's a long story. It's a long story. I suffer not only the pain, but all this mistreatment as well. It just works karma, yeah?
Oh.
Also, I didn't meditate well enough.
Yes, Master.
Because I took care of too many things. Too many disciples came and wanted my attention, especially at that time in Europe.
Yes, Master.
I just wanted to tell you all this. So you know, don't wait until that time.
Yes, Master.
You are not like ordinary disciples. Just meditate the 2.5 hour requirement. No. You must do at least 4 hours.
Yes, Master.
I mean, a solid 4 hours, or you'll be in trouble, or you will leave, or something will happen that you have to go, or you get sick.
Yes, Master. Yes, Master.
If you still have a good meditation, then maybe you sick a little bit, or can be cured. But if it's too much, then you will probably go goodbye. And goodbye in the lower level, not in higher level and liberated.
Yes,
Yes,
Master.
Master.
Don't think that you are initiated by Master and then you are covered. No. You got to eat your food as well.
Yes,
Yes,
Master.
Master.
Like people outside, they're homeless, they're hungry. We give them food, we give them shelter, but they have to use it.
Right.
That's right, Master.
Yes.
The food is in plenty and is free of charge, but they must eat.
Yes.
Yes,
They must eat nutritious food. They cannot go back to their old habits. Maybe drugging, smoking, drinking.
Yes, Master.
Yes, Master.
Or go digging in the garbage and don't go in the house to sleep.
Yes.
This is just an example for you. I hope it's practical enough for you to understand.
Yes, Master.
Yes, Master, I understand.
Long ago, I used to travel a lot to different countries. And sometimes in the aeroplane, there was so much thick, dark, heavy karma. And I felt so bad. I felt so restless.
Yes.
And I wanted to even go and punch the window to jump out of the airplane, that bad.
Wow.
Oh, but I had to swallow it on. I wish I could meditate on Kuan Yin, because if you do the sound in that situation, immediately you would feel peace and calm.
Yes.
So sometimes I had to go and lock myself in the toilet, that
Right.
dirty public toilet in the airplane, to calm myself.
Yes, Master.
Yes, Master.
And they banged at my door, of course. They would not leave me in peace, because you cannot be there too long.
Right.
People will think you smoke or do drugs in there, yeah?
Yes, Master.
They have the right to suspect you,
Right.
Yes, Master.
because that's the place where you have privacy.
Right,
Yes.
So somehow I would find a corner in the back of the cabin and I cover myself from head to toe and did some Kuan Yin. but very short, because the stewardess always came up and down, in and out, and they look at you and suspiciously they would touch you. They say, "Are you all right?"
Yes.
Nobody would cover from head to toe and sit in like that.
That's right.
So you always had to be vigilant, yeah?
Yes. Yes.
And always had to cut it off. But a few minutes, or maybe 1 or 2 minutes, better than nothing.
Right.
Yes.
Otherwise, I could go crazy on the airplane.
Yes,
Understand.
Master.
Sometimes I didn't even want to go on the airplane, like fear of flying.
Oh, yes.
I never had the fear of flying. Just after I had so many disciples, it became different like that.
Oh.
I flew when I was even a teenager already, or younger, because I studied far away.
Yes.
And I flew back home to see my parents or my sister and relatives. I flew all the time in Vietnam, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, especially during the war. It was safer.
Yes, Master.
My parents let me fly instead of going on the buses because maybe there were mines on the street, on the road. It happened all the time.
Yes, right. Yes.
They just bury mines. They're opposite force at that time from the north. They bury mines in the streets. And if the bus drove over it, boom, everybody would die.
Gosh.
Often.
Yes, Master.
Maybe they didn't mean that for the civilians. Maybe just for the South Army. But how can you avoid that? It's the civilians who also use the roads.
Right.
Yes, Master.
How can you avoid it?
Yes.
That's a lot of problems. War is bad, bad, bad. Terrible, terrible. My teacher was also shot, died. Because in any village or any province or city, they organize the civilian groups to guard the entrance of their village or their city.
Yes, Master.
And so the North Army just shot them at that time because they also counted as an enemy.
Yes, Master.
I see.
Even though they were just civilians and they were forced to do that. If you didn't do that, you would be put in a hat-on as the communist or communist sympathizer or spy, and then they would jail you anyway. They would beat you up, torture you, and ask you to confess. It happened to my father also. He was jailed for nothing. I know, in the war, nobody can be spared anything. You could always be wrongly accused, jailed, beat up, or tortured anytime by just a glimpse of suspicion or by some people who don't like you and who just accuse you.
Yes, Master.
It's funny. During the war, the South government jailed my father for being a suspected communist. I told you the story already. Until my mother was so sick, I had to travel. I was only 7, 8 years old. I traveled alone to beg the prison to let my father go home for some hours to save my mother because we didn't have a good hospital in that area and she could not travel. She was so sick after giving birth to my sister.
Yeah.
I told you the story already, so I don't want to repeat it.
Yes,
Yes,
Master.
Master.
My father was jailed during the war because he was accused of being a communist sympathizer. At that time, it's like a traitor.
Yes.
Traitor, or what else is the name for that? Anyway, betraying your country. Of course, it's two sides fighting, and if you are with the enemies, then you're a traitor.
Yes, Master.
Yeah.
Treason also. Treason is another name for it. You committed treason.
Yes, Master.
So my father was jailed for being a traitor, for being a communist supporter, or communist mole, or hidden spy. And after the communists took over the South, he was jailed again for not being a poor laborer.
Wow.
Oh.
They classify the rich, wealthy, and the landowners. My family own land also.
Yes.
You have land like rice field, and you let the laborers come and work on it, and you share the harvest.
Yes, Master.
Yes, Master.
Because of that, my parents also got jailed and sent to labor camps, education camps, they call it.
Yes,
Yes.
Master.
Master.
So, if you are with the enemy or not, you also had trouble. And after the enemy already took over the country, the enemy also jailed you. Oh, man, what a world.
Yes,
Yes,
Master.
Master.
My father was neither an enemy nor foe, nothing. He did nothing. He just took care of people who were sick.
Yes, Master.
Just a medical person. And he took care also of sick animal people. That's all he did. Nothing else. And my mother was just selling stuff. She was just a merchant selling cloth for making clothes.
Yes.
I said both of them just worked to keep their family fed and clothed. That's all. But anybody can say anything.
Yes.
And by the time they check you out or not check you out, you are already black and blue. Whether or not you can prove your innocence, that's another thing.
Yes.
Because sometimes maybe they got someone else who also knew my father. Everybody knew him. In a small area, everybody knows everybody.
Right.
Yes, Master.
So because they beat him up so badly and tortured him so much, he just said any name. So my father's name was on the list. So they just captured him and jailed him.
Wow.
And later, after the communists already took over the South and became one country, he also was jailed in the labor camp.
Hinduism teaches peace and respect for all living creatures, which is why it's time for its followers to follow a plant-based diet. Kumuda Venkatasan, vegan.
Đen hoi, tiết mục phun sang con cắp họ sang.
So do not take any of your luck, of your blessing for granted. Do you hear me?
Yes, Master.
Because whatever you don't appreciate, you will lose it, either in this life or the next life.
Yes, Master.
Yes.
If you can come back in the next life, or meaning if you have to come back because you don't practice well, because you don't eat the food that's given to you, meaning spiritual food.
To chĩa quẩy vậy mua tỏi dằm dòi mạng lì hoi con duyên phiêu dằm dòi chiền phiêu luôn cầu cằn nơi buồn trin cắp lùng đia tài phàm trên cú puột tiết mục phun sang con cắp họ sang nại. Hách liều truyền hình vô thượng sư mài sảm dụng khổ mạc chiều hách thình tòng buôn xăm hào quang khói quang lầu cầu dằm dòi nơi lùng đia cầu lồng cắp vỉa họp chun mà muộn dằm dòi nàng.
Inspiring viewers, we appreciate your company for today's episode entitled Diligent Group Meditation to Protect Ourselves and the World, Part 3 of 6, on Between Master and Disciples. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for more positive programming. May the ever-expanding sea of heavenly light envelop our world to heal and unify people and all living beings.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/BMD.